Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second Get Cities Women in Tech TechRise pitch competition. We're so excited to have you here again. And for those of you joining us for the first time, I am Desiree Vargas Wrigley, the Executive Director of TechRise by P33. TechRise is a multi-stakeholder initiative founded in partnership with Verizon to make sure that we can help support Chicago's Black and Latinx founders all the way from idea stage to exit. So each week we bring together 3 to 5 idea to seed stage founders to pitch on the TechRise stage in front of a panel of judges real time. So they get 3 minutes to pitch, then they get 3 questions, and then after that, the judges deliberate live and choose a winner, and someone wins somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000. So it's pretty exciting. So stay till the end so you can see the most important part, which is giving away the money. So before we introduce our judges, I just wanted to remind us kind of how important this series is that we do in partnership with Get Cities, which is a Melinda Gates initiative around gender equality in tech. We are supported in this effort by Beta Boom, by Matter, MHub, Future Founders, and then the thought leadership of many of the other incubators and programs across Chicago. But why it's so crucial, I think, right now and always is that, as many of us know, the numbers around funding women they're pretty abysmal, actually. In 2020, we only saw 2.4% of venture capital going to women, but women own 40% of businesses in the US. And so it's just so far behind in terms of who needs to be supported and when. And so we believe that TechRise is really changing things, at least in Chicago. And after today, we will have 67% of TechRise funding going to women founders, which is really exciting. And nearly 80% will be for Black founders in Chicago. So definitely making strides towards that goal. But as always, we need your help in reminding these founders that we are here for them as a city. So please be generous with your time, your resources, and your network, and reach out to these founders. You can do that in a couple of ways. So down below in the links on YouTube, you'll see links to being able to mentor these founders directly. You can also sign up to be part of our TechRise community, where you can go and be a judge, a mentor, or bring some skills-based volunteering. So that's techrise.co/community. And then, of course, with your dollars. So TechRise is designed to be a $5 million fund to support our Black and Latinx founders over 3 years. We want to make our prize money as high as $50,000 a week. And so we need your help. So whether you're a corporate sponsor, an individual donor, or perhaps at an institutional philanthropy, we would love to have you participate. You can go to techrise.co/donate for 100% tax-deductible donation. All right, and so now I'm ready to bring on our judges, and I am so excited to introduce us first to Pam Koska. Want to join us, Pam? She is the CEO of AllRaise. And for those of you not familiar with AllRaise, you should be. AllRaise is a nonprofit that's dedicated to making sure that women are represented across the funding spectrum. So from a founder all the way to investor, they do workshops, they do mentorship, and tons of programming in between. And Pam joined them a couple of years ago to take their efforts national. So welcome, Pam. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And prior to that, Pam is a very experienced founder, operator, and leader. She's led many venture-backed companies, including Loop, Blue Box Security, Virtuos, and she's taken multiple companies public. So honored to have you here. Thanks so much.
Honored to be here.
And next we have Ben here. He's principal at Elevate Capital in Seattle, where they focus on investing both capital and mentorship in their founders. Ben is a neuroscientist turned VC, which is exciting. So he uses a data-driven approach to source and evaluate deals. And prior to Elevate, he was director at TIE Oregon, and that's one of the most active chapters of TIE, I think. And TIE International is the largest entrepreneurship organization in the world. So Ben, thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invite.
And then finally, we have Cheryl Campos, who I personally met as head of ventures over at Republic when Parachute was doing an equity crowdfunding campaign. But she wears so many hats that you probably have seen her in many other places. So including being a venture scout at Lightspeed. She's also an investment partner at the Community Fund. She's one of the founders of VC Familia, and which is a community of Latinx VCs supporting current and emerging investors through collaboration. So Cheryl, thank you so much for being here too. We're excited to get your thoughts.
Thank you as much.
All right, and so without further ado, I'm so excited to bring this week's founders. We do have only 4, so that means they have a 25% chance in taking home just over $20,000. So Our first competitor today is going to be Viva Health, and we're going to invite Edna Vazquez up onto the stage. So everyone else will go camera off, and she'll have three to 4 minutes to pitch, followed by the Q&A.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I'm very blessed to be here with all of you. We are all connected in the great circle of life. I am Edna Vazquez. I can recall the first time when I crossed the finish line as a world champion, completed the 100K in Belgium, representing my native country, Mexico. Today, I'm very excited to introduce Viva Healthy app. I immerse myself in different cultures around the world, and I do believing in prevention plan will help to strengthen our community health for sustainable lifestyle. The COVID-19 I'm sorry for this. I missed this part. The COVID-19 pandemic has led 4 of the 10 adults in USA reporting symptoms of anxiety, depression disorder, alcohol consumption, and suicide thoughts subsequent to the lockdown and isolation. Currently, 29% of Latinx has been compromised with the COVID-19. A small fitness studios owner lost the 50% of the operation. With all of these effects, COVID, I bring the solution for Viva Healthy app that empowers health insurance companies, corporations, and small business owners with a bilingual tools and cultural engagement, digitalize their communities to create a holistic environment. Viva Healthy app is designed by B2B2 and a potential to B2C digitize the service, which is fitness classes, personal training, nutrition, and mindfulness program. B2B2 for health insurance providers, small fitness owners, and the corporation offer a wide level annual access fee per user's fee. And B2B2 with consumers will be a free trial followed by monthly fee, and the 2-tiered option 1 is optimum and option 2 advanced. With COVID-19 as accelerate the use mobile apps, and by 2028, fitness apps projected for the $150.5 billion, and for the nutrition apps, they are for $10-20 billion. Viva Healthy is offering affordable pricing with a HEIRS bilingual model, including with all the transactions. My 15 years doing community service, promoting education, health to our families will help to bring this to the market. In 3 segments, I do the traction strategy. 1 for medical and health, sport and entertainment, and media. They are for 4 dozen for each segment. We are projected to design the UX and develop for the app in June and September, and then launch in Q4. My goal is to reach 5 health insurance companies during the end of 2020, and Viva Healthy app is serving for the 5 more spoken languages in Chicago, with a vision to branch out in Mexico, Latin America, and Spain. Now, it is the time to build healthy communities. I am ready with my strengths. I'm founder of Viva Healthy Communities. I'm the first Mexican and American champion to complete the 4 desert series. I'm a USA track coach and 12 years of experience in the food industry and the telecom industry. Together with my team, Albert Docker and software and engineer, and Ahmed Nutrition will be strengthened together, our Viva Healthy app. Together, for the love of humanity, let's build healthy and active communities. Thank you.
Great, when the judges can come on for some questions.
Thank you, Edna. That was great. I'm curious, have you spoken with insurance companies specifically to understand what they're looking for in an app like this with regard to the number of consumers that you have on there, or how they're going to evaluate people who are healthier after using the app versus before?
Yes, so currently I'm working with Blue Cross Blue Shields, providing classes, yoga, strength classes. That is the 2 more convenient classes for our communities. 1, strength classes is help to strengthen our body, and for relaxation, yoga. So the way that we do is basically I provide it via Zoom, and there I just target the pricing based off how many attendance they have, or I go through just a specific fee per month.
Can you share some of your price, a little bit more detailed on your pricing model?
Yes, so that,
Based?
So the pricing model that I have is going to be an offering around 13.99 per month, and then I can offer it in two groups. One, they can be by an optimum program or an advanced program. For optimum, is pretty much evaluated a prevention plan with a little more details and diagnostic of their health for each individual person, and then based on their profile, we can assign it fitness classes, personal training, or mindfulness program. And then for the advanced, which is the second program, we're basically going doing a service general, which is a fitness classes or personal training.
Yes, and just to follow along that way, how exactly are you gaining customers, and what's your customer acquisition strategy? Because a lot of apps in general that talk about health and wellness, that's kind of their biggest hurdle, right? Is understanding what the customer acquisition cost is, and how to gain enough traction so that this can be like a full long-term strategy for them.
So number one, I founded Viva Healthy Studio, where it's already 3 years on the market. And we have around 50 subscribers already that we contact via email. And currently I have 150 clients in online and a hybrid model in the studio, or also by online. So based on that, almost 23 years and expertise as an ultramarathoner and my personal brand, pretty much I have been working with 3 segments, and I use them based on my reputation and the experience that I have to bring more clientele in Viva Healthy app, but as well also because I have been doing a lot with social community service, and this is another way that pretty much how we do it. So for the B2BC, so I will offer 1 month free, and then later on a monthly fee. And then for B2B2 that I explained, I will just assign it a code monthly payments based off the production that they can give it to me.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Edna. Great job. And everyone can go video off and mute while I invite Springrose on. So next we have Nicole Cuervo from Springrose.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Perfect. Move this over there. Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole, the founder of Springrose. We design adaptive, attractive intimates. I'm assuming you've all seen a bra before. It's an everyday item for most women that tends to hook in the back. But what happens if you can't raise your arm above your shoulder? You can't put it on your back. Maybe you can't use it at all, or you don't have the dexterity to work those tiny hooks. My grandmother Rose was one of these women. She had osteoarthritis in her hands that made it incredibly painful and difficult for her to wear her traditional bra. And she's actually not alone. In the US, there are over 45 million women with upper mobility challenges, ranging from arthritis, stroke paralysis, nerve damage, and shoulder injuries. And for these women, like my grandmother, there aren't any options out there because everything that exists is unattractive, unadaptive, only focusing on minor forms of arthritis, or size limited, ranging from a B to a double or triple D, yet the average American woman is a double D, meaning half the population is larger than that. And so at Springrose, we design adaptive, attractive bras specifically for women with upper mobility challenges. Bras that don't compromise on aesthetics or function, and don't play into outdated stereotypes about age, especially since our target market is women over 50. And we've been talking to these women, physical therapists, occupational therapists, and caregivers to understand what it is they truly want to see in a product. And they've told us things such as a thick strap, a wide sideband, a front clasp, no underwire. We design with our user at the core of everything we do. For example, we don't include magnets in our design, even though it's common in adaptive apparel, because it can interfere with pacemakers and other health tech. We validated the need, but we also wanted to make sure we were quantifying the demand. So we launched a series of Facebook ads. In just 8 weeks with a basic sketch and a landing page, we'd go over 900 people to sign up for our wait list. The best part, each of these emails costs us less than $1.50 to acquire. So we're going to be a direct-to-consumer brand, and that means we've been doing a lot of Facebook testing. We got around a 10% click-through rate, meaning 10% of people who see our ad, click on it, and 9-cent cost per click. For comparison's sake, the standard for apparel is around 2% click-through rate and 45 cents cost per click. In talking to these women, we also understand one of the biggest barriers to shopping for intimates online is not knowing exactly how the sizing will fit. And so we're going to offer free 2-way shipping and a try-on program, whereby women can buy a bra in the size they think is theirs. We'll send them one larger and one lower, and then they get tried on from the comfort of the homes and send back the 2 that don't fit. We're also establishing partnerships with PTs and OTs, and I'm happy to talk more about that during Q&A. We have pretty healthy LTV to CAC ratio, so we're estimating for cost of acquisition to be between $14 and $16, and we recuperate this cost after a single product purchase. But now let's say we're being incredibly optimistic and our CAC is actually double what we're expecting. We still recuperate it after a single product purchase, and that's because we have around a 70% margin on our product. This is a $2 billion underserved niche market within a massive industry. So industry giants are making billions in revenue every year. And there's actually a very fragmented market. So even Victoria's Secret owns less than 20% of the market share. This makes it attractive for new players to come in, such as ourselves. And we want to be where Third Love and Lively have been, which is making over 100 million revenue in less than 7 years. We're currently in the sample development process. We started working on this back in August, and we're expected to do pre-sales this summer and fully launch in the fall. And so we'll use today's money to go towards building our e-commerce site and getting ready for pre-sales. Our team is incredibly diverse with a wide range of experience across customer strategy, finance, operations, marketing, and sales. And we have amazing advisors in fashion apparel manufacturing, occupational therapy, and venture capital to help round us out. And so I'd like to invite you today to join us in helping women get dressed painlessly. Thank you.
Great, and the judges can come on for some questions.
Hey, Nicole. This actually is kind of my wheelhouse since I'm femtech and silver tech, so this is kind of a perfect intersection. My question is more around what you would elaborate around the partnerships with PTs and OTs, right? Is it going to be like the Adidas model where like, you know, they gave it out for free to like, you know, doctors and then they would recommend it and like all of that? Or how exactly is that going to work? And what's your strategy for making sure that you're targeting the right customer?
Yeah, so we've already started talking to a lot of PTs and OTs. The way it works is they already see a lot of our target market as part of their patient population, and they already recommend products, as you mentioned. What it would include for us in terms of costs is providing them a lunch as we pitch them on the product, and then providing them samples that they can use and try on with their patients. But that would mean that they would then, if it works for their patient, direct them to our website where the patient can buy directly from us. We have partnerships right now with offices in Atlanta, Miami, Austin, Chicago, and Salt Lake City, and we're still growing and building out our network right now. But I'm also happy to talk more about that if you'd like.
Is there any opportunity for IP, or is the brand really going to be your primary differentiator? And how do you compare with some of the incumbents that are already there?
I'm so happy you asked this question. Yeah, so there is a chance for IP. We can get both a utility and a design patent. The sketch I showed was just that. It was a sketch. It's kind of illustrative of the basic design. We don't want to put everything out there because until we get a patent, we would like to not show it. And so, yeah, we can get a patent, but it will be heavily brand driven. Part of it is also the way the intimates market works. For the big players, they try to go mass market. So it's pretty narrow margins. Our product is more costly to manufacture because it has a little bit more pieces than the other ones. And so they're not particularly going to copy our design because it will really squeeze their margins. They pride themselves on being more like a $25 bra that you can sell to anybody. And so by expanding like $1 more in their cost would reduce their margin by like 4% or something. It's kind of nuts. So they're not going to do that. What they're actually doing, a lot of the players, is acquiring companies. So Lively was acquired by Cole more recently. So they're more like, if somebody's successful, they'll probably try to buy them or acquire them. And on that front too, like it will be heavily brand driven because sure, we can fight the patent, but life, yeah.
Can you just unpack for me a little bit on, I love the rigor on the CAC. What is like the lifetime, like the 1 year? Can you unpack how frequently the purchases are? And
Can I actually, I'm going to try and show the slide for this one just because me talking about numbers really overhead is going to be really overwhelming. So I believe for me it was slide, yeah. Let's see. So you wanted the CAC, right? Or the LTV, because I can do either. I can do this one if that's easier. So we're going to retail our product for $59.99. And then we are expecting to be our COGS around $5 free on board, meaning the entire cost of the product up until it gets shipped will be less than $5. We're estimating around $1 per item for shipping because our manufacturers are international. And then packaging of around $2. Overhead is kind of like fluffy right now, right? For a startup, there's no actual, like I'm not paying myself. Margins in the intimates industry are standard around 70%. If you get like really optimized for cost, you can get it to 80, but that's really hard to do. We're estimating women will purchase around 2.13 bras a year because that's the average for women in the US. Some women purchase more, some women purchase less. What we found to be the case is when women find a bra that actually works for them, there's two things they do. One is they either consistently go every year and buy like 2 to 4, however many they need, or they'll front load and they'll say, I know this works for me. I'm going to buy 5 or 6, and then I won't buy for another 3-4 years until those wear out and I need some more. We don't actually know early, right? So we don't know what our lifetime of a customer is going to be. We've talked to women who have been going to the same boutique for 15 years because they found the one bra that works for them, and they do that. We found women who switch every year because they haven't found something that works. And so we're just estimating it for 1 year is $89. But the important part is like acquiring the customers will break even at least on every single customer. Anything else?
I think that is all. Great job. Okay, so next I'm going to welcome Nicole Walker on from Mom Adventures.
Thank you.
Cheryl, you and I can go video off.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, you're good to go.
Awesome. 1.5 million moms left the workforce due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a pandemic that has exacerbated an ongoing internal self-care conflict. We know that there are going to be some moms that lean into that 24/7 daily mommy grind, and then there are going to be some moms who want to hit the reset button. And for those moms who want to hit the reset button, we would like to introduce Mom Adventures, an ecosystem that empowers moms to explore their ideas that reimagine the motherhood experience. In 2019, there were 35 million working moms, and 9.8 of that 35 million experienced workplace burnout. We believe that a subset of that 9.8 million are going to lean into creating their own ventures, as evidenced by the members who've joined the Mom Adventures community to date. Here's how it works. It kicks off with a virtual hackathon where the mom is paired with a designer to rapidly build and test their idea. Upon completion of that hackathon, they're introduced into a community of business design coaches, mom testers to continue to give feedback on their idea, as well as a mom talent pool ready to help them operationalize the idea that they have continued to explore. The revenue model is a monthly membership subscription model, and that revenue will be generated primarily from our mompreneurs as well as our business design coaches. We have completed 2 market tests to date, which included 10 mompreneurs with really big ideas, 15 credible designers from the Institute of Design, as well as business leads from the Kellogg School of Management, and 25 mom testers who engaged in the hackathon to give iterative feedback on the mom's concepts. Mom Adventures is not just another incubator. Our key differentiator is this hackathon, which enables moms to validate that they are solving a real problem with a real solution prior to any pitch taking place. If chosen for idea stage funding, I would leverage that investment to build a technology platform that will facilitate the Mom Adventures Mompreneur Roadmap, as well as aggressively build the community of mom founders, testers, talent, and angels. Why us? Well, we're mom powered. I am blessed to have a team of advisors that are leaders in innovation, design, successful entrepreneurs, and most importantly, moms. And they've been invaluable with informing the Mom Adventures experience to date. Moms are the pillar of strength in our families, communities, and sister circles. And when you empower a mom, you empower an entire community. Mom-founded ideas are powerful, bold, dream-fulfilling ideas. And we believe that Mom Adventures will cause a paradigm shift in the beliefs about motherhood, having your cake and eating it too, and accelerate a new sector of the economy, the mommy enterprise. Thank you.
Great, and the judges can come back on.
Hey, Nicole, quick question. Did you see a theme as to what these moms were, pitching as ideas? Was there a common thread, like a pain point that they were trying to solve? If so, what was it? And is this something that you could potentially elaborate on in the future?
Sure. So the ideas themselves were very diverse. So there was a mom building a plate for picky eaters. There was a mom leaning into athletic gear for moms that are going through their maternity stages. There was even a mom that was really aggressively exploring how to build a healthcare app. So it was really the diversity, but the one common theme that came from all of those participants was it was amazing to have the space and time to finally explore an idea. And so that was something that they all derived value from, agnostic of the scope of the idea that they brought into the process.
How much education are you giving to your moms? And then what are you doing, if anything, to help them understand, it's similar to the question I asked for the previous company, things like IP ownership, especially if you're pairing them up with someone who's helping do the design work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're kind of hitting on the niche even a little further because we really want to focus on concept design and testing. And so some of the things that we provided the moms prior to the hackathon is they got primers on design thinking. So what does it mean to design and iterate on a concept? And then, you know, if given the investment to continue to scale, that 6-month roadmap will include key modules around how to pitch, how to refine your concept, you know, how to go after funding. You know, as a mom myself, it's really important to not send us into information overload. So we wanted to just give them the minimum necessary to have a successful hackathon experience. And then upon completion of that, make sure that they have the tools just beyond business planning, but how do you prototype? How do you prepare for a pitch and those things after they have a validated concept?
Can you talk a little bit about building the community, how you found these target women and that you started with and how you're thinking about scaling that out?
Yes, definitely. So for the first hackathon in October 2020, it was definitely me reaching out to friends and doing a Facebook post. Hey, I know I have some mompreneur friends out there who've been sitting on an idea and never having the time or place to explore it. But for this hackathon that I did in February 2021, I aggressively used social media ads and on Facebook and Instagram. And I was so pleasantly surprised that I got moms from California, Arizona. And so it really showed me, and that was with a minimal investment. And so it really showed me that there are moms out there hungry to reimagine their motherhood experience and have that flexibility and lean into their ventures. As I scale this platform, in addition to social media advertising, I do plan on also leaning into established mom groups that are on social media. And then one area that I do think would be kind of a diamond in the rough are alumni groups of MBA programs, because there are many moms in those programs who are not quite sure if they want to go the corporate route. So how do I catalyze what they're already thinking about as they're leaving graduate school?
All right, great job, Nicole. Thank you. And next we have our last competitor of the day. I'm excited to introduce Ashley Marie Sutherland from HEIRS Farm.
Hello, how are you today?
Great, how are you?
All right, can everyone see my screen?
We can, yes.
In January of 2020, we moved to the south side of Chicago. Months later, the pandemic forced social isolation and highlighted the lack of quality food options in our local area. We realized that if we wanted affordable organic produce from sources we trusted, we'd have to grow them ourselves. After our first successful harvest, we became addicted and we dedicated ourselves to greater access to fresh produce and creating great experiences around food. Despite some local options, there is still very little health choices. There's no delivery or flexible payment options that are local, and big box organic brands often are more expensive and require more travel, leaving 40% of our Southsiders with no access to fresh food. HEIRS is a proud Southside nonprofit startup striving to set a new innovative standard for our local food system. We believe that smart farming creates creative solutions to food insecurity, sustainability, and urban development, creating opportunities for historically excluded communities. The impact of COVID-19 has created a devastating impact, and we need to look at what we need to do best. Focusing on HEIRS will meet the accessibility needs of our community by selling local farmers markets and offering CSA subscription services coupled with doorstep delivery as well as flexible payment options. We'll also be offering educational and awareness campaigns. Our market begins with our family and our friends and our neighbors and our community that live on the South Side. They look to support Black-owned businesses and they prefer quality produce as our addressable market. HEIRS Farm's biggest advantage is our unique and culturally relevant produce selection, not available anywhere else on the market, and our produce subscription boxes and our team. In 2020, we grew enough crops to provide 5 families with weekly subscription boxes for a growing season. With your support, we will establish our first indoor aquaponic operation with a full capacity, which will provide up to 1,000 pounds of produce a week, allowing for us to offer doorstep deliveries to up to 100 families in areas of food apartheid on the South Side every week for an extended growing season, which is nearly double the traditional farms. We expect to reach $240,000 in gross revenue in the first 2 years of operation. Our team consists of co-founders, which are local to our Chicagoland area, and we have a collective of 7 years experience building and maintaining green spaces, sales and marketing, and fund development and nonprofit leadership, providing us with all the unique skills necessary to contribute to our success. We see a world where geography does not dictate food access, and a world where communities take control of their health, environment, and heal themselves through food. To start this, we need to raise $100,000 to build our pilot program. Please help us create this world. Thank you.
And now the judges can pop on.
Great job. And I'm a huge fan of local food production and increasing access to food. Living in Seattle, I see a lot of local food production. And in general, I've seen a lot of different companies trying to tackle this idea of how you get people more access to locally produced food. One of the biggest challenges that I've seen is going from one market to the next. So how do you plan to go outside of Chicago? And how do you plan to use the traction that you get in one market to help you grow more quickly and access other markets more quickly?
Well, we plan to use like word of mouth and our social media legs because my co-founder, who is my husband, he is a guru in sales and marketing. So we're going to hone in on his skills and really create creative digital media campaigns that don't really have borders. So we'll automatically be reaching out to those communities and those people through our social media and electronic campaigns already through list servers that we have acquired. And also we have 8,000 followers on social media, Clubhouse. We also have a following on Instagram, Facebook. We are really building a community both digitally and in person so that it can translate and we can reach those target markets. And it's not like, hey, like we came out of nowhere.
Pam, go first.
You mentioned hydroponics and some of your production capability. I was really curious if you could just unpack a little bit more about how to scale the food production side.
So our pilot farm is going to be producing about 1,000 pounds of food a week. And that is just from about a 40 by 60 space. And so that's not a lot of space. It's actually about 18,000 square feet. So 1,800 square feet. And so the scalability is there considering the lot sizes that are here. And then also considering dilapidated buildings as storage for those, for our aquaponic systems. And so the scalability for it is actually boundless because we are really working with small amounts of space and trying to maximize that while we minimize waste.
Hey, Cheryl, I just want to talk a little bit about your experience growing and kind of cultivating this, especially over the pandemic. Has anything gone wrong? And, what if something happens around the food production? How are you thinking about, contingency plans if things go a little awry?
Well, I'm glad that you touched on that because that is something that we definitely plan for considering COVID. And we have integrated crop management systems so that we can monitor our crops and we can actually use data to increase our yields, understand what goes into our waste and our taste process. And then as well, some other things is we've been building direct relationships with our restaurants and with our community members, having those monthly conversations with them, asking them what they need and really gauging that so that when there is another COVID or pandemic incident, we do have those strong relationships and we'll be able to continue and maintain them.
All right, thank you so much, Ashley Marie. And now we are going to let the judges go make the hard decision of who wins today. But in the meantime, I'm excited to welcome two guests onto the stage. We have Elle Ramel, who you may remember meeting last week or the week before as a judge. She is the director of Get Cities Chicago, and she has many accolades, but she's just really incredible in the economic development space, and she's worked for the city of Chicago, and now she's focused so much on how we bring equality to tech. And equity to tech, I should say. So Elle, I'm excited to have you here and to introduce Kelly, and I will let you take it from here.
Kelly, thanks so much for joining me today. Everyone, I'm delighted to introduce Kelly Evans, the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Community Economic Development at the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago. But again, Kelly has a lot of amazing experiences. Specifically, she also came from Cresco Labs as the Director of Community Integration, and then Chief of Staff to one of my personal heroes, State Senator Toy Hutchinson. So I think, Kelly, you just bring such a great lens of the region and the impact that's really needed in our communities. So first, I'd love to hear about the Breed Love Women of Color Accelerator that the YWCA and the Women's Entrepreneurship Institute at DePaul has really started getting going.
Sure. So thank you, Elle. And hello, everyone. Your pictures were amazing. I loved every one of them. I'm glad I'm not responsible for picking a winner because you'd all take it home if it was up to me. But yeah, so our Women of Color Accelerator, or Breed Love, as we are working through the nomenclature for our accelerator, is phenomenal. We are doing it in partnership with the Women in Entrepreneurship Institute at DePaul University. They are kind of powering our accelerator. It is a 9-week accelerator focused on later stage women of color, middle stage women of color businesses. And so we have businesses who have been in business for maybe a couple of years it ranges to women who have been in business for about over 30 years. Revenues, our median revenues are about 500,000. And we understand that, women of color in particular get such a small percentage of capital investment. We wanted to make an impact specifically in that area, which is why we were very thoughtful about what types of business owners we wanted. And that is why we chose that population. And so part of what DePaul is bringing to the table are women who have been in business for several years and have access to capital infusions to kind of help scale our businesses to the point where they can also attract either funders, investors, or have succession plans where someone's making an acquisition on their business to create some type of liquidity event for them. And so we're so excited about our women. I just got off of our accelerator. That's why I was a little late to this party. We have 8 phenomenal mostly Chicago-based women. We have one who is in California, but they are national. Some of them are global. And so we're just so very excited about a role introducing them to the greater Chicago area because they are awe-inspiring.
Thank you. And I think, Kelly, we've been able to get to know each other through the Get Cities Tech Equity Working Group, where we're bringing together different small business groups, incubator accelerators, and funds to think about diversity inclusion. But I think one thing I'd love to hear about is, we're talking about this 10th week, the Tech Week, and Get Cities in partnership with Verizon. Thank you so much, Verizon, for their support, are thinking about doing some sub-grants to these women-owned businesses to do some tech enablement. So I'd love to hear about, what does tech enablement mean to a small business, and why is this something that, really needs that support?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. And so first, let me thank you for mentioning Verizon. And I see Stephen is on the call. I want to shout them out because they've been a partner with the YW, I know, right? With the YWCA prior to this initiative. And when we talked about this initiative, Stephen immediately jumped on saying that he wanted to support this population. And so we're just so thankful for that. And like you just said, Elle, it gives us the opportunity to infuse some type of tech offerings to these women business owners so that they can go out and buy services from small vendors. And so I look at this as like a compounding initiative. We're not only affecting the women who are going through our accelerated program, but exponentially affecting other business owners who will be offering them services that they may not have even ordinarily thought they needed. So that's the first thing. And I just want to say how phenomenal that is to have the opportunity to do that. So to your question, what does tech enablement mean to small businesses? It means so many different things. And it's so interesting because, Elle, as we've been going through this process about what small businesses that are not technology companies, what they need, is as diverse as the company, right? So it means everything from, I have an e-commerce, or I have a business. We have a person in our accelerator who owns a restaurant, right? Or it's a takeout. And so, looking at her website, it's just not in alignment with what her business is. She ought to be able to have people come on her website, buy stuff, pick it up and go. And she does it. And so for her, tech enablement means, how do I upgrade my e-commerce ability, the ability to track customers, the ability to send out sales information. And then it runs the gamut to other businesses in our accelerator who don't necessarily need to use tech to look for clients, to look for customers per se in terms of buying, but they need to position themselves as experts in the field, right? Which will then translate into clients. And so our needs run the gamut, everything from, as we've talked through it, and we talked about it today, actually, everything from web and logo design to SEO, to Google ad placements, to, having a blog. And so it means a whole bunch of things to different people. And part of the beauty of this project that we're putting together collectively is to be able to have those conversations with these business owners, because what we're finding is that they don't really even know what they need, or what they think they need is actually not what they need. It might be something else. But giving this project is giving them the opportunity to talk about and have a consultation with people who can make suggestions and referrals as to, I don't want to say be prescriptive, but at least give some consultation into how that certain technologies will enhance their operations. And so this is a really interesting process that we're going through. We've never really thought about it this way, but looking at it from an entrepreneur's eyes, it is really enlightening us as to what those conversations need to be, what conversations need to be had in this space with our small businesses. So it's awesome.
Yeah, Kelly, and I think we've had a conversation about if you're in the South and the West Side, you don't necessarily always wake up and say, I'm going to take a bunch of years off out of my time, quit my job. I'm going to start an app today. You might start as a brick and mortar selling a bakery that might eventually become an e-commerce platform. Or I think we're very passionate about the fact that some of these minority and women-owned tech vendors in the city, they could have huge contracts. I was on the phone with a corporation yesterday where a lot of their work is contract work. So you never know, like there could be, a web agency. I mean, I think we get excited. We're like, what if there were, 10 more Black-owned digital agencies in Chicago that could really help amplify the startup ecosystem?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I think when you think of all the like incubator, accelerator, and small business spaces, what are those opportunities to kind of scale that tech need? Do you think there's businesses with opportunities to become tech businesses just out there? Maybe they don't know it.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. We've seen just in our accelerator that there are companies that are not operating as tech companies, never thought of themselves as tech companies, but actually are really just tech companies. And they have not been able to kind of bridge that understanding of how they really operate. And I think that certainly what the pandemic has taught us, if anything, is that there are some business operations that are not necessarily, that they don't necessarily have to do in the office or necessarily have to do in one way, but if tech enabled, can actually move their business to a different level. And so, yeah, absolutely, we have companies that can be tech companies if they really understood what being a tech company is. And I think because for most of the language for non-tech people, when you say a tech company, they think some kind of hardware or software, right? Or some kind of platform or creating an app. What they don't realize is that a lot of their business operations are tech companies, right? Zappos sells shoes, but they are a tech company, first and foremost. And so when you look at, really what you're selling and what service you're producing, that kind of determines whether this is, something that can be eventually morphed into some type of tech company, which is, I think, the way we're going, especially since what we've learned, since the way businesses have had to pivot during COVID.
That's amazing. And I think, I'm just looking at this TechRise today and thinking about the women graduating through your accelerator, like this type of platform, what does that mean to a business like you've seen in the YWCA WEI Accelerator? Like what kind of, like when you see these opportunities, what does that mean for a business that you're helping with?
You mean the accelerator opportunity?
I'm even thinking like this TechRise, like an opportunity for a spotlight like this in Chicago.
I think that it means a lot, especially so when we're looking at the differences in kind of how people view their business at different levels, right? And so, we have an SBDC at the YWCA, and those are people who are in ideation and startup phase. And so they really generally come to us with an idea or a very small business, right? And they haven't seen kind of even where this will grow. So when we're working with women who've been in business for 20 or 30 years, or even 10, 15 years, their perspective is a lot different because they've overcome the hurdle of just getting started and being sustainable to how do I now scale my business? And so what they're realizing at this juncture is that in 2021, you cannot scale your business without some type of technology solution or some type of technology enablement in your business. And so there's now starting to look away so much from just the bare bones operations. And right, we've all been startups at some point, and we know we're just every day is just how do I keep the lights on? And once they're able to kind of get past that and look at really like step back and look at what is the totality of their business and how do they make it grow, they understand that they cannot do that without tech engagement. And so when we were talking about it today, and it was the first day that I announced to them that they were going to be getting these scholarships to buy some services. Oh my God, you would have thought it was a bunch of kids saying that they were getting out early for school, but they were so excited and so very, very thankful that they were going to be able to focus their efforts with some professionals to really help them figure out what they needed. And they really, really felt like this is going to take their business to the next step. So it's amazing what, just a little bit of support could do, for businesses. And I know, Elle, you and I have talked about, I think Stephen has even talked about it with Robert. If we just had a really, really small goal to provide basic technology services to every business in Chicago, what a humongous difference that would make for the business, community in terms of creating and sustaining businesses, and subsequently for the community in terms of having sustainable businesses there that can then hire people. I mean, I think that the impact is just
are you releasing our master plan of getting every business in Chicago a website?
I wasn't, but you just did.
I think we said it right here. But I just feel like what's so exciting to me is these women every day are taking risks on their businesses. Yes. And so, our program is about giving a couple $1,000s to each woman business to try something new. Mm-hmm. I really think the consultation is important, but I think that money in the hand, my hope is you try something and you see how it goes and you take that risk. Because, right. I think when you grow up and you need a job and you have to put food on the table, a couple $1,000s is a lot of money to take a risk. And so I think we're just hoping to, a lot of people get to start a company and have a lot of de-risking in their life, but this is a way I hope our project can say, just try something new, try something with branding, try to add some e-commerce integration, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking forward to seeing how those results go.
Yeah, we're super excited, and the ladies are excited. And so this is just a really, really good time for us.
And I guess thanks, Desiree.
Oh, no, I wanted to just hop in and say how excited we are to welcome the women onto the TechRise stage for the exact reason that you just explained. Like, really, any business that wants to grow and scale and hire a bunch of people, like, you have to have technology, right?
Sure.
And so we just had someone who, was writing in the other day, and she wants to create a bilingual drop-off play center. And she's like, but I'm not a tech company. I'm like, but are you going to be using technology to, manage your staff, like to manage your payroll? How are people going to book these drop-ins? I mean, I hope they use Parachute, but you know what I mean? Like, there's technology here. And then if it's successful, are you going to scale it? How are you going to gain efficiencies? You're probably going to use analytics, right? And so I think there's that moment that that founders just need to recognize that, wait, this is going to require tech. And so like, I am a tech founder. I'm going to have to learn these things. And so they're welcome on this stage, which I hope we can use this as an example of to invite more people to come in and raise their hand and have the courage to apply. It's techrise.co/apply. And the worst thing that can happen is that you don't make it on. But like, the best thing that could happen is you get $25,000 or $50,000 to build the dream that's been keeping you up at night. So
that's right.
Hopefully we can have a lot more women come through. So do you want to maybe share for the audience just where everyone can find both of you in case they want to learn more?
Sure. Go ahead, Elle.
Sure. So you can find me, Elle Ramel, on LinkedIn. I'm also at getcities.org, gender equality and technology, and really happy to be partnered with Desiree and TechRise. And Kelly, I'll leave it to you.
Sure. And I'm Kelly Evans at the YWCA. You can email me at kelly.evans@ywcachicago.org. And then you can find the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago, of course, on all the social media platforms. But I just want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to talk about our project. Thank you.
Yeah, no, so great to have you. And I guess we can actually stay on because I thought the judges were ready, but they are not back yet. So apparently it's another big battle back there. But maybe we could talk a little bit about what, like we hope the outcomes are of our work over the next, the Get Cities working group has 4 areas that we're focused on. And I think we all have different things that we're measuring. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of making an assumption, right, that the women that are leading businesses that have been around for a while, that have $250,000 in revenue, like we want to get them way past that $1 million mark, right?
Sure.
So that they can create sustained wealth for their families and jobs. But what are some secondary metrics, I suppose, for how you all are looking at your work?
Well, I think what's also exciting is we've realized that we've been trying to understand that the digital vendor landscape of Chicago and really elevate those as well. And so I think another exciting thing Kelly and I are looking at, what if there's a women of color tech vendor accelerator? And then we get them to the point where Boeing and McDonald's can say, you know what, I need digital ad buy. I'm so glad that, the Tech Equity Working Group 5 years ago grew these 10 digital agencies. I mean, that's for me is even when I'm at Get Cities, I want to be hiring those professional service firms. And if we're not seeing them at that scale, I think Kelly and I are like, why not? Like, why not have them be, media digital moguls in Chicago? So that's just something else we're excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the metrics that you guys named are, of course, the metrics that we're looking for. We want everybody to make more money and we want everybody to, to scale their businesses. But one of the things that has come out of this from our perspective is that there are so many pockets of people that we can impact, right? So from this accelerator, we're already working with Matter to do another accelerator that is health focused, which I would assume that most of those businesses are going to be tech businesses. But, anytime that we can grab a population of businesses and say, hey, let's wrap you in services and expertise with all these great partners, we can just grow, this female founder, minority, founder population to exponential numbers. And really, that's the big idea that I have, like how can we create 1,000 women businesses, within the next 5 years?
That's such an important point too. And I think that there are a lot of women in particular that are freelancing and they're doing this, solo hustle, but like, what would it look like if that turned into a true agency?
Absolutely.
And like, what's the delta in their workload and, what could that mean for their families and for their communities? And so the fact that you all are focused on the service provider side as part of this initiative, I think is so crucial for our tech ecosystem, because just imagine what they're going to spin off when they train more
Absolutely.
people to do digital marketing and then train people to do front-end development. Like that is going to turn into feeding our talent pipeline, not just in Chicago, but probably across
For
the
sure,
Midwest.
for sure.
Well, I don't want to keep the founders from finding out who the winner is. So Kelly, it was great to meet you
Me
over
too.
camera, and
Thank
Elle,
you,
thank you so much
guys.
for being our guest
Absolutely.
lead through the fireside. And so now we'll invite all of the founders to come back on stage and hear who the winner is. But before we do that, I do want to say a quick thank you again to Verizon for their support in the prize money, and then also to Valor Equity Partners, who's come in as a meaningful sponsor this year across many of our competitions. And we'll see a big competition that they're sponsoring towards the end of the year around sustainability. So stay tuned for that one. And then of course, Beta Boom, Future Founders, Hamid Matter, who helped prepare all of the founders today, and many of our other founders for other weeks. So wanted to get that out before we announce the winners. And then I guess who is going to announce the winner from?
This will be me.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Well, thank you all so much for presenting your ideas. We actually took every single second of that deliberation period in terms of really understanding, who I believe would benefit the most from this prize money, in the sense of execution and making sure that we encourage every single one of you that all your ideas are extremely needed. They're going to make a huge impact. And so we want to make sure that all of you leave, just knowing that we really are, just honored to even be here today. But we have decided that the winner is Springrose. Congratulations, Nicole. Appreciate your pitch. It was awesome, and really is something that I think has legs in terms of supporting, women who need adaptive technologies, and we're just so proud to be a part of this today.
Thank you so much. I can't. Thank you. I'm so happy. And thank you generally to everybody today. I know we all prepped, and it was nerve-wracking for everybody, and everybody's doing really amazing things, particularly in the Chicago area. So I'm sorry, I'm very happy. Thank you.
No, good, great job, Nicole. And thank you so much, judges, for being here and taking time. You're not in Chicago, and the fact that you spent time on these Chicago founders means a ton to us, because we believe that there's so many great founders here in the Midwest that just haven't had opportunities like this to pitch people like you. So thank you for making the time. And of course, we will follow up with other thank yous. And then, to the rest of you that competed today, you did such an amazing job, and you know that this is not a one and done experience. And so you are welcomed back onto the TechRise stage again. We'll find the right theme or the right week to bring you back. And then Nicole, we're so excited for you and to see what you do next with this next chapter and this funding. So keep us updated, and everyone have a wonderful weekend. And we'll actually be taking next Friday off because of the holiday. So we'll see you all back on June 4th when we are partnering with the Urban League. And actually we're doing it at a special time to coincide with their summit. So if you are a subscriber on the TechRise channel or for our email blast, you'll get an invitation. But otherwise, please do go check out techrise.co to sign up for the 4 p.m. Central slot. So you can watch this great group of Urban League founders come and pitch. All right, congratulations to everyone. You did a wonderful job, and we will see you again soon.